Grace and peace, everybody. We're back. We are back. Wow. Was that thing not insane today or what? That closing argument. There's a lot that needs to be unpacked about that closing argument. Hold on. I hear my voice like 9 times in my ear. What is in the world? Why do I have 2 of these windows open? All right, there we go. Problem solved. All right, that closing argument was bananas. Bananas, I tell you. But yeah, that was crazy. But it was fun to watch, though. I have to admit. It was fun to watch and engage with other people who are watching it and hearing what they're saying. I was watching it with lead attorney. I'm sorry, I was watching with Nate the lawyer, and then I was watching with lead attorney. And just listening to the different comments and the different comments and so on and so forth. Man, it was wild. So real quick, I got a quick little segment here. Just kind of a summary, if you will, of what we saw. And let's jump in and get started talking about some stuff. So let's go. Resume last video.
Into court for a hearing to determine if she should be disqualified from prosecuting former President Donald Trump.
The decision is now in the hands of Fulton County Superior Court Judge Scott McAfee. Fox 5's Eric Perry is at the live desk now to break down those hours of closing arguments. Eric?
Yeah, Russ, Courtney, happy Friday to both. Judge McAfee says he has a lot to look over and hopes to have a final decision within the next 2 weeks.
Wow, 2 weeks, man.
Both sides had an hour and 30 minutes to argue before the judge. Let's start with the defense. Attorney John Merchant, who represents Mike Roman, focused on conflict issue. He says this is a case of a matter of first impression and says we are here because of Willis's judgment. Former President Trump attorney Steve Sato says Willis and Wade were simply not truthful while on stand. He says cell phone records show that Willis and Wade's relationship started well before the date that they testified to. Defense attorneys also spent time arguing the speech Willis made at Big Bethel AME Church and says it was a deflection and it could taint a jury. The defense claims Willis pulled, quote, the race card and the God card.
We frankly couldn't care less if they had a personal relationship outside of work. That is not what the issue is here. The issue is that they began this relationship in 2019. They were dating for 2 years, and then she awarded him a contract where public money, either from Fulton County or the state of Georgia, ended up in his pockets.
Do you have to find that Wade and Willis lied? No. What you need to be able to find is that there is a concern, a legitimate concern based on the evidence in this case about their truthfulness.
She would have looked the members of that church in the face and say, there's been an allegation that I had a romantic relationship with Mr. Wade, and ladies and gentlemen of this congregation, it's true.
Yeah, those were just 3 of the defense attorneys there. There are a total of 9. Several defense attorneys also went on to talk about the money itself, saying Willis did not appropriately file documents about the money on trips with Wade and claimed that Wade spent up to $17,000 on the relationship over the years. So let's move to the state. We saw Fani Willis enter the courtroom and sit with her team. State prosecutor Adam Abate argued before the judge there's just not enough evidence in this case that Willis should not be removed from the case as well. He also worked to discredit several of the...
Whoa, sorry about that.
He went on to argue that Willis's actions did not show that she was confirmed to benefit financially from this case.
Why would Ms. Willis repeatedly ask this court to set a trial date as soon as possible if her motive in prosecuting this case was to continue to financially gain, as alleged, from the prosecution of this case? It doesn't line up. It doesn't make sense. And it doesn't make sense for a reason, because it doesn't exist. If Ms. Willis's ultimate goal by hiring Mr. Wade was for her financial benefit, then she would put Mr. Wade on every single one of those cases.
Now, DA Fani Willis left the courtroom right after the state wrapped up closing arguments. Judge McAfee says his decision should come within 2 weeks and will be posted on the docket when it is reached. Courtney Russ, as Randy Travis reported yesterday, no matter the decision, either side is expected to appeal. This could further delay the start of the actual trial. At the live desk, I'm Eric Perry, Fox 5 News.
All right, a lot of people watching what happens with that. Eric, thanks.
That was a good summary. I like that. That was good. Ooh, all right. So tonight, all I want to do is just hear what y'all thought. What did you see? What were your takeaways? All that kind of good stuff. So we're just going to bat it around. I do have some comments about what I saw. And if I were Judge McAfee, what I would probably do. But I was not prepared. I'm just going to be honest with you. I was not prepared for the defense to come out like they did. The defense came out like true. That was masterful. That was excellent. It was well done. It was well put together. You can tell they planned and they knew exactly what they were going to do. And all four of them did excellent. Now, I got to give credit to Boots and I got to give credit to Grandpa. Them rascals right there. They were on the money. Man, they were on the money. But I have to admit, I have no idea what Fani Willis's attorney was talking about. I have no idea. I'm not even trying to be funny. I'm not trying to just be mean and rude. I have no idea what that young man was talking about. I'm like, yo, what in the world is happening here? It was, and you can see the contrast because when he got finished, Boots, Sadao came back up and gave a rebuttal. And again, like clarity, very clear, poignant. It was amazing. So I really, truly have no idea why the judge would need 2 weeks. I know he's not going to take all 2 weeks, but even why he would even say it, like I would have said, look, I got y'all tight by Wednesday. We'll be done with this on Wednesday, because I don't know what he saw. I have no idea what he saw. Now, I do appreciate his pushbacks and his questions. And we were watching it. I was watching with some other YouTubers and we were just commenting. I think his questions were not meant to be dismissive, but really he was thinking about the people that are watching it. This is my thought. This is what I think Judge McAfee was doing. He was trying to ask questions that you and I might be asking, so that if you didn't clarify something, and if the attorney didn't clarify something, that maybe I would still have in the back of my mind, or the average Joe or Jane watching would still have in the back of their mind. He wanted to make sure all that was clarified. And I think he did a good job in that regard. But I wasn't ready for Trump's team to come out so well prepared. And I'm sorry, I don't know what my guy was doing. Now, I do think this also, then I'm going to look at some of y'all questions. I saw my email. I saw the email, chicken grease. I do think that though Fani Willis came in cool, calm, and collected, I think she messed that guy up, because think about it. He's literally arguing for his boss's livelihood. Dare I even say probably her freedom. So, I mean, he had some heavy weight on his shoulders. And then for them to be passing him notes, clearly saying like, you're not saying this, or you need to say that, this, that, and the third. I think they might have thrown him off. I'm going to give him a little bit of credit, because again, I can't imagine. He's literally arguing for his boss's job, livelihood, maybe even freedom. And yeah, that's a little bit of pressure. And then for her to be passing him notes, I just thought that was, yeah. But I also don't think he was the best. He was the best at all. I don't think he was the best person that they could have had. Truth be told, I think even Fani could have probably argued her case at the end. I don't think that would have been too bad. It would have been weird, of course. It would have been weird, or even Nathan. Let Nathan have done it. But I just don't think my guy was really prepared for it. So, all right, Chris, let's go, man. Let me hear what you got, man. Drop it in the chat if you want to talk about what you saw, your takeaways. I want to hear what you thought and the such like that. Breakfast Gun, get strapped in. It's going to be a wild ride. It's going to be a wild ride. But we're going to bring you up to speed. Don't you worry about it. Eric, it's always good to see you. Rebecca as well. And Shara, it's okay. We'll keep you. We'll let you come back for the replay. No question about that. What's going on? Black Cappuccino. I like that name. The old grandpa hit the home run at the end of closing. He ironed out the regulations number by number, which I think there was a lot of contrast to the defense team and the prosecution team, and how they were presenting the prosecution team and the defense. So how they were presenting their case, man, I don't see how he's going to decide anything else but to throw them out. But we'll see. Yeah, Fani made herself a laughing stock. Now I'm gonna give her credit. She looked very nice. Clothes were on correctly, all that kind of stuff. Hair was done. Yeah, absolutely. But the die was already cast for her. What's going on, Q? Right. And I think that was a great point. Her team made it a continual benefit. And it doesn't have to be a continual benefit. It just has to be a benefit. So $100 is the threshold. She didn't report it. Problem there is. It's really that simple. Oh, she benefited in many ways. There's definitely no question there. It's not a question whether or not she benefited. I think the real question is, I think the prosecution made the case that she did benefit to some degree. And again, it doesn't have to be continual. So it doesn't have to be like an ongoing residual benefit. But if you took me on vacation, I enjoyed the trip, I came back, and life was normal, that vacation still exists in my life. So I think you're right. Yeah, that guy was horrible. But again, I don't know. I have no idea why they chose him. I have no idea. It was so bad. I fully expect somebody to come out with a theory that he tried to throw it. That's how bad it was. I'm like, they're gonna probably roll up out of here talking about that guy threw the case because he was a secret Trump supporter or something like that. I mean, because it was really bad. All right, number one, Chris says the judge is smart, attentive, and seemingly honest. Oh yeah, no argument for me. Yeah. Oh my goodness, he was like a stage fright wreck. I mean, I didn't understand what he was even talking about, and I was trying to hold on to it. I was trying to, stay in the zone. I just like, what are you talking about? What are you saying? And it wasn't just me. There were lots of people like, yo, what is this guy talking about? And you saw it in the comments, you saw it in the chats. Like, yo, what is he saying? It was very convoluted. I don't think he picked apart the prosecution's arguments like they picked apart his. It was bad business. What we got here? I don't I don't know if I heard that one. I think somebody mentioned that earlier today that he might have worked for her. It's possible. It's possible. I don't know that in fact. But again, I don't like what kind of relationship would he throw his whole career away for? Because of course, if he decides and judges in a wrong way or judges in her favor, that's going to come out. And then of course, he's going to be in some trouble. So I don't know if I don't know if that works. I totally get it, but man, he only has two things to determine. Did she get a benefit from it, and what was the time frame? I think those are pretty clear. I don't think in my opinion, I thought it was pretty clear. Like, if those are the two criteria and the two things that boxes he's trying to check, then I think he did that. I think they made that pretty clear that he wouldn't need to take 2 weeks to figure it out. A week for each category? I don't think so. No, he was super attentive. He was involved in it for sure. I think the judge is going to give Fani ETA with a pass. Really? Okay. Until today. Okay. The line of lawyers hit a home run with ABC 1, 2, 3. I got you. Yeah. Like I said, I think the judge is a coin toss. I feel much more confident that listening to the prosecution, what they presented to me, if I were Judge McAfee, was like, that was golden, in my opinion. Yeah, my guy. Yeah, he did. He droned on. I have no idea what he was. I felt like he was tapped at the last minute to come up here, or he was extremely frazzled because, like I said, he's arguing for his boss's job. And then keep in mind, he's going to get fired too. So if Fani will not get fired, but he might be in jeopardy too if Fani gets pushed out. It's very possible. I did want them to clap. You are correct. I am surprised too, because I was thinking like, yo, I'm glad this guy's sitting down. Especially when he said like in conclusion or something. I was like, oh my goodness, he's almost done. Okay, so I mean, the barbecuing is over, but man, hey, we're not opposed to, some ribs and collard greens. We're not opposed to that. Not even a little bit. I can't imagine the pressure on Fani's attorney. He knew he had to say what Fani wanted and not be himself and do it his way. I agree. Like, I don't think she did herself a favor by coming in my opinion. I don't think she needed to be there. I don't know what the protocol is. I don't think she had to be there. And I think she might have added pressure to him. Him doing the PowerPoint presentation was super lame. I think he should have just came in there and talked, gave his point, and kept it moving. I don't think, because we didn't even get to see the PowerPoint because they were focusing on the station where the attorneys are giving their final closing arguments. So I'm like, what's the purpose of that? Like, what's the purpose of that? Eric says some of them may have fallen asleep. Someone had to be snoring in the back. I mean, I wouldn't have been surprised because he did seem like he was just droning. I was like, yo, is he still talking? This is crazy. All right. She was not no. She was not disheveled today. I can appreciate it. I thought she looked very nice. I thought Fani looked very nice. Absolutely. I'm not a fan of the color. But hey, that's fine. I thought she looked nice and she was respectful. But again, like the passing notes, you're going to have to just let him, if you tap this guy and you only tapped one, I mean, there were 9 opposing counsels. Y'all couldn't have had 2 people. I mean, keep in mind, there is Fani and her lawyer, Nathan and his lawyer. Why didn't both of y'all split it up? I mean, 90 minutes that guy had to talk, 45 apiece, man. Let's keep this game rolling. That was absolutely Patty said it. Yeah, his quivering voice was off the charts. Again, maybe I don't know why he was nervous like that, because he didn't sound that bad when Terrence Bradley was up and he kept objecting to everything Terrence Bradley said. He had no problem then, but I mean, it was pretty demonstrative that he was shaking. Number 2 from Chris, 2K6. You have to share the clip of Fani's attorney slinking away from the podium disheveled and Fani leaving him solo. I did not pull that up. I will try to find it, but I mean, I have a couple of clips, but I don't have the end. That would probably, I mean, at the end of the day, I think the other team, they did their homework. They had read her book. They talked about the speech that she gave at Big Bethel. They talked about all of these other things. They showed, in my opinion, that they were bringing the whole thing around. They weren't just giving out ancillary facts and things that weren't tied to one another, but rather bringing it all around to one conclusion. They've been in a relationship before she hired him, and she profited financially. I think they did that. I don't see how anything could happen, but I don't see how they can pull it off that they didn't. I know one thing. The judge was in the wind. When he said, hey, I'm going to be back in 2 weeks, he got up and he was out that door. Like, I'm sure he was breathing a sigh of relief like, yo, this has been arduous. I can imagine. But let's keep it going. Chris 2K says the following. The judge said, I may be ready to rule without it. Translation, the phone stuff is damning, but it's overkill and time consuming. Yeah, I agree. That's why I was really hoping they didn't try to bring any more evidence or anything new or argue that. I think everybody understands they were involved in a relationship before this went popping off. So no, I agree with you. Great point. All right. Q says, I think that everyone else was busy trying to put real alleged criminals away. And they are prosecutor. Cases are still happening. There you go. Now, that's a good point. Fani showed up in her red scarlet letter dress, big mad. She didn't seem happy. Let's just say that for sure. But no, I saw it. I didn't like the color. I thought she looked nice. Her hair was done. She ain't coming there huffing and puffing. She came in there smiling and glad handing as she came in. Okay, fine. But passing notes, I think, probably threw this guy off because she did it twice. She did one, and then her attorney did another one, or another attorney did another one. That was a little bit much. If you trust them to stand up here and defend you, then trust him to stand up here and defend you, and let him do that. Because I think that might have thrown him off, in my opinion. Next one, Chris 2K says the judge needs 2 weeks to make his dismissal decision appeal proof. Okay. Okay, so I'm interested because earlier today we had an attorney say that there isn't an appeal process, but the news is saying that there is. So I don't know which one is right, which one is wrong. Did y'all know that Fani Willis has already been disqualified from a case involving this Trump in the election, Jimmy Jam? Did y'all know that? So apparently she did a fundraiser for somebody running against a state senator that is caught up in this case. And because she did the fundraiser for them, hosted the fundraiser, she was disqualified from that particular case. So there's actually precedent that she's been disqualified before recently. So I'm going to find that case, but I just thought that was interesting. Like, I didn't know that. Why did that not come into play? Yeah, I mean, I don't know why he hasn't, Chris. If he hasn't, I'm surprised. So I'm like, what do you need 2 weeks for? You just want a little bit of vacation? You just want to look, because once he gets done with this, he's got to start, trying real other cases. So maybe he's like, look, I'm going to take 2 weeks. I can take 2 weeks. So I'm just going to go to Bahamas, just relax a little bit, and then come back, get my decision next week. I don't know. Hopefully it's sooner than later, though, for sure. Let's see what Chris 2K says. Bradley certainly wasn't speculating about who Wjhat was and what she knew. Absolutely not. Like, I don't think they disqualified. I don't think they properly dismissed Bradley or Wjhat. But they did try to throw Bradley under the bus. I mean, talking about the SA allegations and so forth. So, man, he ain't got no friends anywhere. He ain't got no friends on the prosecution. He ain't got no friends on the defense. I mean, he's just stuck. Yeah, after her attitude, he already made his decision. I mean, that's possible. I hope so. If you work in Fulton County, go ahead and start filling out your applications. I mean, you don't actually have to live in the county, so there's that. As far as I know, I think I could apply. Like, I could apply if I wanted to, but I think I probably have to be an attorney. That would be bad. Right. I don't think, this is what I'm saying. And Kim says, my opinion is that the judge will not put his job in jeopardy for Fani Willis. I don't see why one would do that. Now, that right there is, you would have to really convince me that it would be well served for this man to put his own career in jeopardy for somebody who made bad decision and put her own career in jeopardy. Like, she's already proven that she makes bad decisions. Why would you want to put yours in jeopardy for her? All right. Yeah, this is probably right. It probably been shorter, and it probably would have been much better to just say, you know what, please just be merciful. Patty says, I believe the judge has to give a written briefing. You know what? I think you're right. On everything presented, and with the strong closing arguments by the defense, more work on his judgment, 2 weeks. Okay. You know what? I can probably see that. I can see that. Because I forgot about it. He has to actually give an explanation for it. So he's got a right that he weighed that evidence. I'll give it to him. Still wanted to hurry him get done, though. I thought she looked nice today as well. Yeah, I thought she looked fantastic. Yeah. Again, I'm not a fan of the red, but that's beside the point. Overall, I thought she looked fantastic. I don't think anybody, except that first time Terrence Bradley came in, I think he had like a blue button down and no tie or whatever like that. That right there wasn't a good look. But I think everybody's presented themselves professionally and looked fairly decent. Yeah, so no problem there at all. Now, there's that too, Eric. Eric says, I think he was shaking because he knew it was a lost cause. I mean, I agree with you. He knew it was a loss and just kind of going with the flow. Yeah, I agree with you. Fani started, I think it's a shame that Fani started out undercutting her people and ended the same way. Lawyers pass notes all the time, but it was bad optics for her to do it. I don't think anybody should have, she just shouldn't have passed notes at all. Just let that guy, for whatever reason, they selected him to do the closing arguments. Therefore, they should have said, hey, we trust you enough to say the right things, do the right things, and be professional. So therefore, go forth and win the day. I think the note passing really that added to his stress and strain. I really hope Fani and Wade don't get away with it. It's as clear as day. She was in the wrong. I don't see, since the point is that you have to prove that they did something wrong, which I don't think anybody could argue that they didn't, which I thought was kind of cute that they said alleged relationship when it was clear, her team said alleged relationship. Like, that's been clear. We're not arguing whether or not they had a relationship anymore. That's water under the bridge. The problem is, when did it start? And I think they made a good point that it started well before then. All right, let's go. I'm sorry about that. It's as clear as day that she was in the wrong. She wants people to just overlook everything she did, and she's really the victim. I mean, we'll see when she pop up at somebody's church this weekend. What's Chris say? In relation to I submit to the court speculation, attorney Abate. Yeah, he just didn't sound confident at all. Again, comparing him to, I do think they wanted to create the optic of like the older white man versus the young white man. I don't know. That's something I can conclude. I don't know why they didn't have Fani had a black assistant. I don't know why they didn't have somebody else. I don't know. I don't care what the nationality of the person was or the ethnicity of the person was. This gentleman was not the right one. I'm sorry. I just don't think he did her any justice. But I also don't think the case was solid anyway, in my opinion. In retrospect, Chris says, Fani going to church was the worst thing that could have happened. Irony, because I always encourage going to church. No, I agree with you wholeheartedly. They skewered her. They had Fani fillet because of what she said at church. And if she hadn't gone, we wouldn't have that problem. Or she had gone to church and not been in the pulpit speaking, because that's where the problem started. And that's it. Yeah, they had no chill for her on the in the pulpit speaking on behalf of this. They had no chill at all. Benefit doesn't mean you have to be monetary. It could be the relationship itself and the SCX. I agree. I think they leaned, though I think you're right, Owen, Orlando. I think they leaned on the monetary benefit because they were talking about like a cash amount. I think they said like Fani has benefited like $9,000 and so forth, which is pretty wild. I think it probably would have been more if they really were trying to bury her, but I don't think they were focusing on the intimate part, but rather just the monetary part. But I think you're right. Fani had a lot of nerve putting a protection order on Miss Wade. Yeah, that did not go well at all. That did not sit well at all. If you're not familiar, Fani put out a protection order to keep Nathan Wade's wife, soon to be ex-wife, which, by the way, the prosecution did point out they're still married now. That was killer. That was so unfair. I was like, yo, they're not playing games with this man today, because they're like, yo, they're still married right now. Which again, he was trying to present it like Terrence Bradley had been his divorce attorney for almost 7 years. Like, what are you doing for 7 years? Like, why does it take you 84 months to get divorced? And you haven't even filed yet, but they filed in 2021. Oh my goodness, come on. All right. Sadly, Fani lives in a world of victimhood. It's not a good look for anyone. I personally refuse to live like that. I agree 100%. Amen to that. Great point. Yes, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Help me out. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate y'all coming by, though, for real. And these comments have been outstanding. See, Fani needed y'all. Have you heard the voice recording of the witness who saw Bradley and Wade together 5 weeks ago to discuss his testimony at the restaurant? No, that's crazy. That's bananas. No, but I'm at this point in the game, nothing surprises me. And maybe that's why he was so discombobulated. I don't know. Maybe he thought it was going to go one way and it went another way. I have no idea. It's simple. She started a contract to her love. Bid rigging. Well, yeah. There were a lot of problems, man. There were a lot of things that stood out to the average Joe and Jane. It's like, that don't make any sense. What's going on here? So yeah, I mean, they used the term no bid contract. So they didn't even have to bid for it. That's pretty bad. Fani gonna be lead attorney in Pelican Bay. She putting cases on all y'all. There she go. Good evening, Nakia. Good to see you. Putting cases on them all. Look, do you realize that 2024, this is day 1 of March. So we have had only 2 months of this year. This is going to be wild. And please keep in mind, we still haven't gotten to the quote unquote trial, if there's going to be one. And they're trying to couch it like it's a sealed deal. I don't know if that's a sealed deal, but even more than that, we still got to get through the trial. We got to still get through an election. It's going to be wild in 24. Wow. What's going on, Leafy Bug? What do you have there, my friend? Let's see. There are rumors that Bradley and Wade were seen together at a lunch 5 weeks ago, assumingly getting testimonies to line up. That is crazy. I hope I haven't seen that, but how poorly Bradley, his testimony was, I don't think it worked. I don't think it worked at all. I hope they didn't, because man, that's so dumb. Megyn Kelly, I've heard something about Megyn Kelly, shared a voicemail from a waiter that claims Wade and Bradley had lunch together 5 weeks ago. Bradley said he and Wade haven't spoke to each other in 3 years. Okay. I would just need, for me, I would just need some closed circuit video, something to corroborate that. Just because I could imagine, just a voicemail message from a random waiter at a random restaurant. I could see that going south pretty bad. ATL. Yeah, that's us, ATL. Atlanta must be stopped. What's up? Welcome back, Shara. Good to see you. Thanks for coming by. Absolutely. That was a short concert. Chris said she should have came in with Timberlands and a hoodie with DMX playing. I mean, it might have worked. At this stage of the game, it could have probably worked. The waiter is potentially the JDAH TMZ guy without the testimony in court. I don't know who that is. I want you to know why they didn't sit next to one another in court. Could it be that they wanted to avoid the appearance? I mean, they walked in together, so I don't know why. It seemed like they walked in at the same time, if I'm not mistaken. Please make sure you like the video. Help me out. I appreciate y'all. Yeah. It's definitely a couple effect, but I mean, I think it was Lee was calling the power couple. I mean, it is what it is, and there's nothing we can do to change that necessarily. However, they've already messed it up, so there's nothing really that they can fix. Yeah, her attorney's key card definitely didn't work as soon as Fani left the room. She went in there. She was on her phone. She's like, turn this joker's key card off. Drop him some boxes off at his door. what we got. Good stuff. Fani goes to church better than Ernest to the movies. I agree. I think I do think she's going to be somewhere in somebody's church. There's definitely going to be some conversation about her. Shout out to Woke Preacher Clips for doing that montage of Fani Willis, apologists from the pulpit. Do y'all want me to talk about that one? I will gladly do that one. In honor of Fani, just put the word Fani in the chat if you want me to go ahead and do that. Maybe I'll tap Chris. Maybe Chris will come on and we'll do a live refutation to all that Fani foolishness in the church. So if you want me to, go on and drop Fani in the chat. Wait, now y'all can't spell correctly? Oh, come on, man. Y'all are wild. All right. Chris, what you doing, man? We should do it. We should do it, Chris. Good to see you, Panda Kitchen. Good to see you. I don't know, Chris. Looks like it's gonna be. Looks like we gotta make it happen. We gotta give the people what they need, man. It's gonna be a Fani call. That's gonna be the thumbnail. Chris and Jason make a Fani call. There we go. That's gonna be the thumbnail. I'm gonna go ahead and do it. We're doing it, Chris. What's up? Let's do it. Let's do it tomorrow, man. That'll be fun. And we'll go over all the. It'll be build up because I'm sure there'll be more this coming Sunday, because I promise you, black churches is just not going to do right. So we just go ahead and do it. It pays to tell the truth, Kiana says, which I agree 100%. Boots said that none of them cared about her personal relationship. She should have just fessed up. Do you realize, like, if she could have been in a relationship with him and not hired him, and we wouldn't be having this conversation. She could have been in a personal relationship with him and made him bid for a contract and kept him just as a run of the mill, not special prosecutor or anything of that nature. And we probably would not be having this conversation. It really is the fact that she elevated him, paid him grossly to the degree that y'all are on trips and such like that. What were they supposed to do? I think even Boots or Grandpa mentioned that it's normal operating procedure to just have attorneys that have contracts, salaries. I'm sorry, to have attorneys that have salaries, to have hourly attorneys, and to be paid that much just didn't make sense. So, I mean, she just made a lot of errors, and I think the prosecution did a great job of saying she's made bad decisions, therefore we cannot trust her future decisions. I think they did a great job with that. Find a clip of the attorney leaving the podium to sit next to Fani. I will look for it and I'll have it ready for tomorrow. All right, what is this? No reply says. I have some info on Fani and Nathan. Both went to Gabe Banks' wedding in 2019 with Bradley as well. Okay. It's just a Fani call. Why must I be like? It's just a Fani call. It's just a Fani call. I think it's fair to say. I think Fani fumbles the largest bag in 24. Absolutely. He has never prosecuted a felony. He rather wasn't the right lawyer for the job. I mean, I would love to have heard her explain how he was, because she said that at Big Bethel, that he was a rock star attorney. Like, well, how are you making that determination? What instrument does he play to be a rock star? Is he a rock star drummer, rock star bass player, rock star guitarist? Like, how is he a rock star? What is the rock star status? How do you become a rock star in a felony case of this magnitude? So we're not just talking about, run of the mill felony. This is probably fair to say one of the largest cases in some time, for sure. It's definitely like the O.J. Simpson of 2024. And how did you determine, Fani, that Nathan was a rock star ready for the big league like this? How did you determine that? Or if she is if she had disclosed that they were together before she hired him, paid him like everyone else, and reported the trips. That's all she needed to do. That's really all she needed to do. And we probably would not be having this conversation. Black girl tragic. That's what it is, though. That's exactly what it is. It's about mammon. You cannot serve two masters. Well, I'm not certain that Fani serves one master, so I think she just serves mammon. I'm sorry. I'm not convinced that there was even a discussion for the other master. Does Fani ever listen to interview? I'm sorry. Nakia says, does Fani ever listen to interviews she did several years ago when she claimed that the type of corruption would never occur under her watch? I don't know how she hasn't, because I've seen it multiple times. I've used it in a video, and I just think she's just nose blind. Fani and Nathan went to Napa, California. No reply says. And was 2 miles away from Nancy Pelosi's house, who travels 2,000 miles to have wine that didn't even like, just to be 2 miles away from Nancy Pelosi's house. I don't know. That's problematic. I love it. I love it because you all, that's why I think this case has been so fun, because so many people have been looking at it, and it's like the game of perspective. Everybody's in different vantage points and sees it from different areas based upon their own knowledge and their own biases. And it's just easy to see things. And I never thought about. But I thought she went to Napa just to give defense, I thought they went to Napa. It was during the same time that she was moving her daughter out there to California. I thought, now I could be wrong, but I thought that was why they were there. There was a lot going on, but that's why I thought they were there. But it could have been just a ancillary standalone trip too. So Fani knew this whole situation was unethical from the start. All out of smoke in the city says. She chose to hide it, then lie. Also had a chance to back out, but no risk disqualification. I agree. She put everything on the table, and sadly, I think she's going to lose. Y'all are out of control. Fani wanted to wine and dine Nathan hot dog. Y'all are out of control. Cannot put up with you. All right. Discernment File says her priorities were askew for sure. Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know how she has put, as I've said before, she's put chinks in the armor of the Fulton County DA's office that I don't think are going to get resolved. Now, you can say what you want to say about the former DA of Fulton County that Fani Willis replaced. You can say that. The problem is Paul Howard didn't bring any besmirchment, any ill repair on the DA's office. Whereas Fani, this will always be the case. Yeah, I don't know how you're a rock star attorney in traffic court. I would love for that to have been part of the questioning. Like, how did he become a chief prosecuting attorney apart from him being your boyfriend? Boy, y'all out of control. He rocked her world. Just because Nathan can put it down in other areas does not mean he's qualified to prosecute former president. I agree 1,000%. Apparently Nathan was dating another office girl too. He's real popular with the ladies. I heard wind of that. I don't know specifically, but I mean, I've heard that. So yeah, I guess she did go out there and didn't have the wine. I didn't think about that. That's wild. All Out of Smoke says, I honestly think they liked each other. Thing is, you started having an affair with a married man and then hired him. I don't understand how that's not problematic. Again, let's boil this down. Let's put it, at let's put it at Chick-fil-A. Now, Chick-fil-A, I don't want to besmirch them. Let's go with McDonald's. Okay, Mickey Cakes. All right. If the franchise owner of McDonald's walks outside and sees a member of the opposite sex, a homeless person of the opposite sex, and gets them and makes them head of fries in his store, chief fryer, it's fair to say that the people in the store would probably have some problems with that. But then they find out that not only is this person being brought in as chief fryer, but the store owner is having an affair or is sleeping with this person and paying them 3 times as much as he's paying anybody else in the McDonald's. I think everybody would see that there's a problem with that. And especially if Fani was a man and Nathan was a woman, they wouldn't have made it this far. But why is it okay for Fani to do this? But if somebody did this at McDonald's, y'all would have a problem with it. You would truly have a problem with it. And look, run for the hills if your child worked at that McDonald's and had to see that foolishness and see that somebody that he just picked up off the street last Tuesday is making 3 times as much as them. And your kid is over here, hasn't even made it off of a burger flipping, but then now you're chief fryer and you're making 3 times as much, 4 times as much as I'm making. Okay. All right. I think most of us would have a problem with that. He was married and didn't want a wife to find out about his travels. That is weird. And again, he was traveling on his he was traveling on a credit card that his wife had access to. And that's crazy. And so all of this traveling that they're doing, you went on a cruise with your mother, but didn't take your wife? Look, that is wild. You went to Napa, California, and didn't take your wife? I want to say they went over to Europe as well at one point, but still, all this traveling and you're not taking your real wife with you. What was the story being told? That right there. Just go sit down, Nathan. Just go sit down. All right. Pride comes before the fall, Black Cappuccino says. And haughty spirit pride comes before destruction, a haughty spirit before the fall. This will be the time that the chickens come home to roost and Fani gets hers. I think so. But if nothing else, we know at the end of the day, let's say if Fani completely shakes this off and she's not disqualified, Nathan's not removed, the DA's office is right there. We know the Lord is still going to judge this rightly. The Lord is a righteous judge. So if Judge McAfee totally biffs it, totally misses it, messes the whole thing up, it doesn't matter. The Lord is still going to judge appropriately. And watch this. Even if Fani is kicked to the curb and Nathan is kicked out and Terrence Bradley's kicked, the Lord is still going to judge rightly. He just knows it. So therefore, I'm fine with the Lord judging and doing what he does rightly. The first chat I see when I came in is Chicken Grease. She's wild. She's wild, Willie Dog. She's wild. Right. Perfectly normal activity for 2, 3 in the morning. Yeah, I have no idea. I wanted to actually go by the airport to do a little quick drive by around where the area is. There's no restaurants and bars that are open that late at night. Because again, the airport is not New York. Lots of stuff closes at night. They might stay late, but they don't stay that late. So he ain't what you doing, man? What you doing? But she did. But she got her Grey Goose. Yes, she did. Yes, she did. She is a treasure. She is a treasure. We got to appreciate her. All right, what do we got? Only person to need to contact that much And that midnight hours is Jesus. Let me tell you the truth. So Chris 2K comes back and he says, number 8, the state lied in closing when they tried to say Fani wasn't talking about the defense yeah, absolutely, in her church speech. Patently false. I agree. Yeah, the church speech did not do her a favor. And I think me and Chris, K-Dub might have been talking about it, or maybe it was Rick. I don't remember. But we're like, literally, most of Fani's problems came from Fani doing the most. Nobody made her get up at that church and speak. She could have just turned it down. Nobody made her come huffing and puffing into the courtroom when she came in to be a witness. Because you do all remember they were arguing to not have her come in and testify. So everything that happened subsequently was her fault. The book, that's her fault. She gave the ammunition, and of course, hiring Nathan Wade. Nobody made her do those things. Nobody made her do those things. She could have kept Nathan Wade as her boy toy and kept him out of the Fulton County DA's office, and we would not be having this conversation right now. We wouldn't be. I don't think so, at least. Eric says, Wade was on call all those nights for an emergency landing. Y'all are out of control. You all are out of control. Flag on the play. Y'all are wild. I love it, though. All right, let's keep this going. What's going on, Susie Q? Good to see you. Grace and peace. All right, let's see what All of Smoke in the City says. If the biggest DA in Georgia has an affair with a married man, doesn't that raise question marks about her credibility as a person that's held to a higher standard alone? That's what the prosecution was trying to say. Like, you can't trust her judgment. Terry King says, God raises up kings and he takes down kings. Let I also say DAs as well. Wade used his law partner's credit card traveling with Fani. That is a good point. She paid some back with cash, but not even 20% of the cost to keep it away from his wife. Yo, that's a good point. I kind of forgot about that. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, there was a lot of foolishness going on, lots of chicanery, lots of foolishness happening. She got her Grey Goose cooked. Just an average man says she got her Grey Goose cooked. Absolutely. At the barbecue. Only thing yeah. The judge asked the state attorney what the H. Bradley was doing in the Fani home area all those times. Bradley or Wade? But yeah, I don't know why. And I don't think they even tried to answer. All right, let's see where we are. What's going on, Easy Mac? Good to see you. Her hubris is what caught up to her. Absolutely. No question for me at all. Good to see you, his servant S. Good to see you. The wife thing doesn't matter, no reply says. They've been separated for a long time now. The marriage only matters because Wade was filing taxes as married. Yeah, okay. So, I wasn't clear on that, and I guess I might have missed it. So they don't live together. Maybe, okay. Okay, then that would make sense then. The defense did so well in the non-case against Fani that you refer to them as a prosecution. What does that say? Look, I was confused because there's so many attorneys, man. There were so many attorneys in there. Man, I can only imagine the amount of legal experience that was in that courtroom. All right, real quick. Kim Schamberger says, in love, yes, we can judge, but the ultimate judge is God. Amen. Capital One, what's in your wallet? Fani Cash. Because my daddy had said always keep cash. I mean, like, how do you come back from that? How do you make that make sense? So if she ever goes somewhere and she doesn't have cash, or she whips out, when this is all the smoke clears and she goes out for mimosas one day with her girlfriends and she whips out her credit card, like, is this so weird? Like, why in the world, in this day and age that we're in, that just seemed like such a weird flex. Daryl Hancock says, I cannot condone practicing harlotry, whoredom, or fornication. I realize that any of us can fail from time to time, but these folks in Atlanta are practicing immorality. You're not lying. And yeah, we got a lot of work to do. That's why I say Atlanta must be stopped. All right. I thought the final arguments could have focused more on what the judge was interested in, namely, okay, so that's the real Zooch. I thought, well, in my opinion, I thought Merchant and Sadow, Boots, and Grandpa, I thought they did do a good job of focusing on what those two things. When did the relationship start? And did she benefit financially? I thought they stuck to that pretty well, in my opinion. I don't think that, I don't know what the young guy's name was that was defending Fani. I don't think that he did a good job, please forgive me, of showing that burden of proof had not been met. I don't think they did. But I think that you got me thinking, am I saying it right? The defense team did, in fact, that was seeking to have Fani disqualified, did, in fact, in my opinion, their closing argument was solid. It was to the point. All four of them balanced out what they were saying. Nobody got overly tired. Nobody droned on. And I think they did do a good job of pointing out those 2 points, which are the 2 points that the judge required and asked from them. And I think they did that. Atlanta must be stopped. Absolutely. Discernment is the ability to make a right judgment. We can judge. We must do so rightly, not hypocritically. There you go, Susie. Excellent. All right, what does Daryl say? I feel like I just missed it. Isn't marriage a covenant which man and woman take before God and remain faithful? Well, absolutely. And Nathan Wade, Fani Willis had already violated that wholesale. So they were just going at it. The wife does matter because he was hiding money from her in the divorce. That is right. You're right. Yes. So yes, his wife does matter. I hope I didn't say she didn't matter. I hope I didn't. Fani Willis and Kamala Harris are both, Alpha Phi Alpha AKAs, and both DAs make it not make sense to me. Interesting. Okay. Elijah brought fire down from heaven last time. Look, every now and then I think we deserve it. We deserve it. I thought the final arguments could have focused more on what the judge, namely, was a relationship prior to contact. I thought they did. I thought, and hear me, and what benefits Fani received. I thought those who are wanting Fani to be disqualified, in my opinion, did in fact hit those markers pretty well. I don't feel like Fani's team was aware of the they didn't do their homework. They didn't read the homework assignment. Or she could be a sponsor for Cash App. Absolutely. Like, how is Fani not? She wants us to believe she was carrying $2,000 on a cruise ship to pay her boyfriend when she got to Aruba. Okay. All right. If that's what I'm supposed to believe, no problem. That rascal, he got up out of that courtroom so fast, all out of smoke in the city. He got it. So he was tired of this. He's like, look, I'm done with this. I've had enough of this. As far as taxes go, Shar says, if Nathan and his wife agreed to for jointly, even though they were separated, it wouldn't matter. And I don't know specifically about that, but I mean, he was keeping 2 households, which is crazy here in Atlanta. Morality is for white folks. Oh man. Did you catch that Wade was the legal representation during his assault? Wait. Let's start that again. Did you catch that Wade was his legal representation during his SH office claim? How did the DA's office find out about this issue then? Breach of privilege? I think you're talking about Terrence Bradley. Yeah, look, there's a whole bunch of hijinks going on over there, so I wouldn't be surprised. It was so exhausting listening to the prosecution guy. Yeah, he was not. They should have just had 2 people or 3 people at least to just break it up, because I just feel like he was just talking and he pulls out a PowerPoint presentation and he's just presenting like, yo, my guy, what are you doing? What's going on here? Why is this happening to us? What's happening? Oh, real quick, thank you for the super chat. Willie Doc in the building. Keep it going, DWC. Some people real quiet now. Yeah, we're going to see on Sunday. We're going to see what happens on Sunday. I think it's going to be real interesting to see what kind of church experiences, what kind of church sermons Fani makes her way into. Yeah, and here we go, Willie Doc again. The state was off. I don't think that the state just did not have their game ironed out, whereas the Trump team did in fact have they just had it iron. They were ready to go. And with that much legal experience, I don't know how long Fani's attorney had been in practice. It just seemed like it was a wrong mix. Like you just put, a house cat versus a lion. Like I just don't think this is gonna work. And so yeah, I think it didn't work out well for him. I think they were totally off. Okay, so Fani's team didn't expect Trump's team to get those phone records back so fast. But they didn't realize Trump was Secret Service, and they used Babel and Locate X software. Trump has all the data. Okay, it was very possible. Don't get me started on the Divine Nine, Daryl Hancock says. I think the influence of the Greeks in large in Atlanta and in a big part is the mess. Is a big part of this mess. There's some validity to that. I can give you that for sure. Excuse me. All right, let's go. Imagine if the roles were reversed, Chicken Grease says. If Fani was a man and Nathan was a woman, the media would make the man to be the predator. Absolutely. There's no way around it. I don't understand why it's not. And 45's team clearly thinks Fani shouldn't be DA at all. Notice how the judge asked, does this situation jeopardize her work or any indictment she's ever signed off on? They really wanted to say yes. I agree, but I don't think they want to, burn all of Fulton County down. They just don't want her to run it, because I think that's going to really help bolster the case to throw the whole thing into the trash. But I totally get you. If Wade, Chris 26 says, if Wade and his wife agreed that their relationship was over in spirit, why did her divorce lawyer put that specific question on the interrogatory about sexual partners? Wade is a liar. You know what? See, that's what I'm saying. Like, having everybody who hear different things and process things differently, and they all converge into this comment section and share their information is great. I love it. I absolutely love it. And if you could, help a brother out. Hit that like button. And if you have a question, comment, or concern, if you're new, welcome to all the new subscribers. Appreciate you. Let me go ahead and drop my email right there. You can email management, dearwokesee@gmail.com. If you want to follow me on all my different socials, there's all of those socials right there. You can go keep them out, see what I'm doing on Twitter, what I'm doing on Instagram, and such like that. If you're interested, here is my business social media as well. I have a podcast studio where we help people create digital content. You can check us out there as well. All right, let's go. Let's go. Where's Q going? You said, all right, here we go right here. The real Zooch says, it seems like the state's attorney was a sacrificial loser of a losing case. No argument for me. But given the apparent state of Fani's office, it was not surprising of his performance. Wow. Yeah, he was definitely not. Yeah. What was it? There was a commercial a long time ago, not a long time ago, where like I stayed at the La Quinta Inn. That's why I was able to do such a good presentation. He should have stayed at La Quinta Inn or something. He needed that because wherever he stayed last night, he didn't need to be there. All right, let's see. A lot of the people, this Bird Dog says, a lot of the people put faith in Fani. I feel sorry for that, for the folks that feel let down. I agree. Like, I'm not putting my faith in Fani or Trump or Boots or Judge McAfee or any of those guys. I mean, I think this conversation is fantastic and I'm enjoying interacting with you all. But at the end of the day, I recognize that the Lord is my ultimate person that I'm putting all my faith in. And I'm just glad to see this thing hopefully come to an end. But if not, hey, we'll be here, keep on doing it. He should have called in sick. Somebody else said that, like, this is what happens when you get an attorney off of Wjhat.com. He definitely should have called in sick. All right, let's see. Does the decision come out in 2 weeks or within? He said within 2 weeks. Within 2 weeks. I'm hoping, since this is Friday and it's the 1st, that means next weekend will be the 8th, and the following Friday will be the 15th. So hopefully before the 15th. Susie says, my faith is in Christ alone. I agree with you 100%. Absolutely. You got to pay them taxes. Discernment files says you got to pay them taxes and follow the laws. Absolutely. Fani should have done the right thing and stepped down. The bad thing is, Jimmy, I don't know when that should have happened. So people are arguing that, well, if she had, because like if she just stepped down even right now, it wouldn't matter. She's still going to go through the process. So when would she have? Personally, I think she should have did the right thing and not gotten involved with a married man. Problem solved. But not got involved with a married man and hired the married man. Not got involved with a married man, hired the married man and made him chief prosecutor over the most important case that's probably in our, in the last decade, easily. Right? There's a lot of missteps that she made. So I don't know if any of those would have stopped. I'm sorry, I don't know if stepping down would have stopped any of those things, but she could have just did something simple like that. Yeah, Bird Dog says he was in a room full of great lawyers. Maybe he learned something. You know what? He could have been stressed about the fact that he was in front of all these lawyers. I mean, there was no normal people in that audience. I mean, there was probably a cameraman or two, but I mean, there were a lot of attorneys in there. So I'm sure, and his boss was literally sitting right behind him. So, and he's juggling her livelihood, her job, and her freedom possibly. And, that could have been stressful. So I'm trying to give him a little bit of grace because I don't know what I would have done. What about that waiter that claims Fani paid in cash in Napa? I don't think I think she probably did. I don't think that's the problem is, in my mind, you can only take gifts up to $100. He gave her a gift that was more than $100. And it can't be just, he gave me a gift of $100. I gave him back a gift of $100. You still have to report when you get a gift, even if you give it back, or I'm sorry, even if you pay him back for it. You still have to, and that's where she was wrong. And $100, she's well over that. And she has no proof or even a receipt that she did pay it back. So even though she paid in cash, I'm sure she paid for something on these trips. I'm sure she didn't just go out there purely destitute with no money in her pocket at all. The problem is that she can't do that, which I think is the problem. Because even if you can negate the whole Napa trip, you still got cruises, you still got other trips to other places. I mean, remember Bradley mentioned Texas. I don't think anybody even looked into that. So there's a lot of problems there. All right, let's see. Which decision was worse? Fani hiring Wade, Chris says, or having Abate defend her today? Wow. Okay, I'm going to say, that's a great question, man. Okay, I'm going to say that the worst thing that she did was hiring Wade, because if she hadn't hired Wade, we probably wouldn't be here. Because her hiring Wade, and let's say she had still had a good attorney, it doesn't matter. She was still as wrong as two left shoes. So it still would have been a bad decision. Even if she had, even if she had Boots arguing for her, you know what I'm saying? Or Grandpa arguing for her, it still didn't matter. She was still wrong as two left shoes. So in my mind, the worst thing was hiring Wade, because that's what is the genesis for all of this, in my mind. Good question, though. That was a dope question. Lukewarm isn't going to cut it. Jesus is going to say, he never knew you. Separating that wheat from the tares, absolutely. That's what our Lord said. Acumen Winery in Napa, owned by Eric Yukon from the Wuhan, China. This is the winery that the person who said the $400 worked. Okay, got you. Yeah, that's a wild story for sure. Funny how Wuhan, China is tied to this as well. Yeah, that's a good point. She says she went to Belize too, right? There's that. There's a Belize trip. I mean, they went a lot of places. I mean, well, y'all help me out, because I did not realize that Wade was not living with his wife. So that helped out a lot. Not a lot, but it just added clarity. Fani only gets paid by direct deposit. So any cash is very suspicious. I don't know anybody who gets paid in anything but checks. And then, so therefore, how did she have all this bread laying around the house? And please don't tell me you was going to Publix and getting $50, taking $50 out when you use your card. That doesn't even make sense. The fact that she said that to me, I think, was just not only a weird flex, I think to show what she thought about people. Like, you really think people believe that? You wow. All right, so just an average man says she didn't do herself any favors by showing up today. Every time she and Wade has been in court, they appear to have been in an openly intimate people. No argument for me. I don't know. Again, I don't know what the rules are about whether you should be there at the closing statements or closing arguments. I don't know. I don't think she needed to be there, but she was better prepared than when she came busting in the last time with her dress on backwards. We're always in the same page. Love your logic, bro. I think you're talking about me, hopefully. I understand that Wade is a good organizer, but he is not a trial attorney. He might be a fantastic attorney. But I mean, how did you determine that he was she said a rock star when she was at Big Bethel. How did you determine he was a rock star? What was your criteria for rock star stardom? What was her criteria? I'd love to hear it. Fani's worst decision was going forward and attempting to prosecute Trump. Trump plays dirty, so the digging into her life began that moment. Okay, that's fair. But she also just had some big glaring pimples to start with. So I don't think there was a lot of digging that was necessary. I think some of the fine details needed to be dug out, but she had some big pimples to start with. Considering the area they're in, this is discernment says, considering the area they're in, she was first woman DA in country. She's going to skate. Really? You think so? She's the first woman DA? First woman? In the country? No. In the county. I'm sorry, I can't read. No, but maybe I should put my glasses back on. That might be good, Jason. Because that word says county. There we go. What do you think the real figures are for how much Wade spent on her? 50K or more? Look, being the fact that they just willy-nilly, I'm going to go with 50K. Being the fact that they just willy-nilly about trips, flights, car rides, and of course cruises. They on planes, trains, and automobiles. I'm going to go with 50K easily. I mean, they went on a cruise, and I guarantee you, Lady Dear Woke Christian is taking her your favorite podcaster for his 50th birthday this year on a cruise, and I guarantee you they're not in the lower portion of the ship. So there's some. And him and Fani probably were in the same room together. Mom was probably in her own room. So that's 2 separate rooms. That's not a cheap trip. And add to it the complexity of excursions and shopping and so on and so forth. And remember, when they got off the ship, they went to Aruba from there easily. And I mean, he spent some bread on her. And so she wants us to believe that she paid him back. I'm sorry. It was all that bread in his pocket, Shara says. Absolutely. There goes Daryl again, bringing that knowledge. What's paid in cash? Bribes, sex, and drugs. I mean, I don't think the man is wrong. I do think she thinks everybody else is stupid because she's in an echo chamber of people who will not hold her accountable. And they will let her get away with things and say things that are demonstrably crazy, because that's crazy. Too funny. I get $100 from Publix a few times a month, restock spending. But that's my point. Like, if you get an extra $100, I'm not mad at you. If you go to ATM and get you $300, I got you. But how many times are you doing that in order to have, $2,000 and $3,000, $4,000 in cash on hand? That's just a lot. It just doesn't. Okay, you want me to believe that, I guess. Okay, fine. If that makes you feel good, I just don't believe it, though. And she came to the closing argument. It was rude to leave early. Well, she left right after, what was his name? Abate, after he finished. I don't think she left early. She just left because then the last thing was the judge. No, you're right. I'm sorry. Sadao did get up and added a rebuttal, which was pretty clear and to the point. And then the judge gave final instructions. So to me, I don't know. I don't even know if she had to even be there. So I'm not mad if she left early. I just, look, it was just a dumpster fire anyway. So I'm just mad. It was dumpster to be on fire. She stormed out today. The judge may have taken her actions in court today as defiance. Really? Okay. But again, I don't know if she had to be there, but that's fair. That's perfectly fine. Even if she took it out by Publix, there should be an electronic paper trail. But remember, she wouldn't let, I'm sorry, chicken grease. But remember, she didn't want them to have her bank records. So again, if she was, in my opinion, if she wanted to prove that she had paid the man back, there would have been some magic receipts showed up. There would have been some paper trail that was manifesting, even enough to say, look, yeah, I might have missed like $200 or $400, but you see that I wrote him a check for the cruise. I wrote him a check for the trip to Belize. You can see right here, he gave me a receipt for the Napa trip, something like that. If she wanted to prove that she was innocent, she wanted to prove that everything was on the up and up. I think even that team would have said, yeah, she has some kind of receipts, some kind of paper trail, some kind of evidence. Because again, if she had it, I think she would have quickly whipped out her bank statements to prove, like, look, you see I went to Publix right here and took out $500 and paid $500. That's where the money came from. You see I went to ATM here and took out $500. That's how I had the money to pay him back. I think that would have been very clear. They would have had to shut it down and be quiet. She didn't do it because she doesn't have it. That's my opinion. Even if she took it out of Publix, sorry, we just said that. They do serve and worship money. Yeah, I thought so. Thank you so much. No reply. Kamala was a VP. Kamala, the VP, was a DA in California. He said county. I read country. So that was my fault. It was me. I was wrong. You have to be an angel to go after someone like Trump. I mean, that or just be clear up front. Because again, if she had just admitted that they had been in a relationship, let's just say she hadn't hired Nathan, because I think that was just super dumb. But if she just said, hey, there's this attorney over here at, the municipal building. I guess he was an attorney here in Cobb County. She could have easily gotten away with that. But she hired the guy. And then from there, paid him 3x what she paid other attorneys. That's where the problem is, in my opinion. So she kind of messed herself up. She shot herself in the foot. It wasn't, according to Patty, it wasn't Trump or his attorneys that found this stuff out. It was Wade's wife in the divorce papers, and one if the other defendant's attorneys that found all this. That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, I apologize for that. I misread the comment about Fani Willis being the DA in the county, and I said country. Let's keep going. All that smoke says what? What about that $9,000 difference that Trump's team brought up? That was big. I agree. And see, to me, the attorneys knew that this was going to come down to it, and they should have had some kind of receipt game. They should have just had some kind of receipts. And I think even if they had some of the receipts and chopped it down, and maybe it wasn't $9,000, maybe it was like $4,700 left or whatever, I think they could have made a much better case. Like, yeah, I did pay off the $4,700. I just don't have a receipt for it. But she's like, I got no receipts. Nathan Wade, I got no evidence. You just got to take my smile and my $3,000 suits. That's all you got. I ain't give you nothing. To me, that was bad, 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 bad. Yeah, she did pay him back, but it's not with money. I see what you did there, Eric. I see what you did there. They all lie for each other. It will all get buried and forgotten. You watch. Okay. My wife and I have tried to keep a little cash around. It never works out for us. Well, see, that's the thing. Like, you need to follow the Fani Willis. My daddy said, you got to have some cash. Got 6 months of expenses plan. And for $19.95, you can buy that book, because that's what she's going to be selling soon. If she gets thrown out on her ear, she's going to write a book about how to keep 6 months worth of cash in your house. Most preppers try to keep 6 months expenses in cash at home. Yeah, I believe that. But we're also talking about people that have a very peculiar lifestyle. And so they would have evidence to that fact. If I were a prepper and the such of that nature, it would have come out in the case. Like, yo, Jason is a prepper. He's got the buckets of food. He's got all these supplies. And of course, he has 6 months worth of money in his house. That makes sense. She's not a prepper. So I don't see where, but I just don't know why she thinks that people should believe that. Nobody finds anything if they aren't looking. I like that. And Susie Q says, and if she had that kind of money available, why didn't she pay her small lien against her? Very good observation. Right. You know what? She's going to get in trouble even for the comment she made about her campaign and how she kept money out of her campaign. Like, come on. Fani, you did not do yourself any favors. And most of the problems that Fani had are because she was talking. Oh no. All right. Chris says that Fanny was leaning in while a bait was at the podium. Like when you take a 3-pointer and you try to contort your body after the release to magically guide the ball in. Absolutely. Yeah, she was definitely troubled by all of this. I don't think her presence helped him out at all. So if somebody says like, yo, he was really stressed out because Fani Willis was in there, I wouldn't be surprised, because I think she kind of threw him off his game. I'm trying to give him the benefit that he should have been, could have been better prepared than he was. And I think it's because she was there behind him and kind of threw him off of his game. What is Patty saying? Susie Q says a lawyer should know to always have a paper trail. Why is that complex? Why is that something that is not easy to understand? Because to me, it seems to make perfect sense that, yeah, we should, especially an attorney. But you know what? Like Terrence Bradley, to me, in my opinion, didn't seem to realize that he was dealing with an attorney when he was talking to Ashley Merchant. It's almost like he didn't realize, like, I'm not talking to my friend. I'm talking to a potential adversary. I'm talking to somebody who is collecting data. Like, that was just wild to me that he was so freely giving information and not being cognizant, like keep his head on swivel. He didn't seem like he was just talking, just going for it. Like, dude, are you okay? Boots has the best access. Lady Justice blindfolded has been off for a while. I agree. Okay. All right, let's see. The max cash I can get at the store on a debit card is with groceries is $50. Maybe I'm living in the past. I mean, you can go to the ATM and get more on your debit card, but I mean, it's still like, in order to have that much cash around, you're going to be doing that. Doesn't even make sense. I'm sorry, it just doesn't make sense. I'm stuck in the 70s and not budging. Let's get back to 1880, before the grid started without wouldn't bother me any. Gotcha. All right, what do we got? This is a perfect comment. Fanny is her own worst enemy. Yes, I just feel like very little was inflicted upon Fanny. Fanny chose to get into the relationship with Nate. Fanny chose to write the book, Get Me the More Votes. Fanny chose to step in front of that pulpit, in front of that congregation at Big Bethel. Fanny did these things, and it's her fault, not anybody else's. It's not really Nathan's fault. And the bad thing is, I don't know if, I feel like Nathan might have perjured himself, but I don't know what the standard is for being challenged after the fact on that. But like, I don't think Nathan really is in as bad of trouble as Fanny is. I mean, sure, he'll lose that cushy job and he'll lose that salary, but he can go back, and if he doesn't get disbarred, he can do something else. But Fanny's going to be like, yeah, that's going to be a mess. To the point, though, it's all her fault. She did that to herself. We talked about that before. No, I don't think him giving a contribution it's very much akin. I literally heard Nate the lawyer, and I think I heard Viva Fry talk about it, and it's akin to, paying for your coworkers' kids' Girl Scout cookies. I don't think anybody would recuse himself because they bought Girl Scout cookies from their friend's kids. So it would be akin to that. That's how I understand it. I am I think I told y'all that chief executive second born is hanging out tonight, and I'm tracking the parent that's bringing her back home so that she can so I can rest easy that she's home. So anyway, that's what I'm doing right now. Thank y'all. All right, let's see what I got. She wants us. If she wants us to believe she's smarter than us, she should shut her mouth. I think she should prove it, though. Just prove that you're smarter than us. Thank you so much, Chris. I do appreciate the Cash App. Thank you. Yes, I did get that. Thank you very much. All right, what did I miss? Who did I miss? Proverbs 19:9 says a false witness will not go unpunished, and he who breathes out lies will perish. Amen. Cell phone triangulation seems to be the most damning evidence. I think they did a slam dunk with that personally. I was not ready for them to drop that and say, yo, we got you at our crib at this time and that time. But I do wonder, this is something I was wondering, with some of the pushback that was happening, did Fani ever go to his house? So that was just something I was just wondering, like, I see that I think they got him dead to rights, that he was over at her crib, 35 times. So, but did she ever go to his? And now that I know that she was not, that he was not married or staying with his wife, did Fani ever come over there? But I don't know. It's not necessary, I don't think, for the case, because I think they made a great point that they were in relationship before he got hired, and she benefited financially. I think that was it. So they did that. All right. So Wade basically broke. So Wade was basically broke. Fani employed him. In return, he got late night visits and vacations. Who benefited more? I'm gonna be quiet. I don't know. I think that's a great question. The only problem is, it doesn't even matter the amount of benefiting. Is that you did benefit, and I think it's fair to say that she did in fact benefit from that relationship. So you love my hat. Thank you so much. Thank you so very much, Patty. You just know that they're trying to get that CCT footage from the restaurant showing all three conversing. Let me tell you, if that pops up, man, it's going to be a hot mess in the city. If that pops up with evidence that they were conversing, hanging out, doing whatever, oh my gosh, that's going to be a mess. All right, just checking to see where chief executive second born is. It must be traffic because they're moving slow. All right. Fani let her pride get the best of her. No question, no doubt at all. That's the biggest issue, in my opinion. Say that again. Up in the trees. Wow. Normal people keep records. The IRS will grind you into dust if you don't, especially if you have your own business. Amen. ATMs give you $300 a day, some $500 a day, but they report to government any withdrawals 300 and over. Why? I don't know why, but I know I keep some cash like that. So they drunk on power and status. Pride, no reply. It says pride is the most dangerous and deadliest of all the 7 sins. And it said that pride leads to all other sin. I can definitely see that. We can see it in the Fani Willis case for sure. Susie Q says he's by no means innocent, but Nathan Wade was not the main driver of this mess. Amen. She gave him no bid contracts. Terrence Bradley got no bid contracts. Nathan Wade got that big cushy job. That's all her. Good to see you, Violet. Grace and peace. Good to see you, sister. Why I stay humble as a servant. I don't need any title or notoriety. We are all equal in my book. Amen and amen. Really, Violet? Violet says, I think Fani will win the case. Really? Okay. That's going to be interesting. What's going on? Is that Edwin Ramirez in the building of the Proverbial Life podcast? What's happening, brother? Grace and peace. Really, Violet? How do you come up with that? I would love to hear how you come up with that. And not to challenge you, but I just want to know what did you see? What did you hear that that maybe I didn't hear, that I didn't see, which is very possible I didn't see something. How do I do that? I need to bang. So let's do this. Here's the link. Violet, jump on real quick if you got time. I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear why you're saying that Fani will come out of this unscathed. I like to hear that. Maybe I'm missing something. It is wild that Wade's divorce is still not finalized. I agree. Really? Violet? Oh, I might have. Okay, I feel like I might have missed something. The Trump team didn't prove their case. They were busy with the details. Really? Okay. Oh, all right. Grab that link, Violet, if you want to jump on. What's going on, Addie? Good to see you, Addie Hicks in the building. Grace and peace. Good to see you. Make sure you all hit that like button. Help me out here. Help me out. I like it. I like it. Now I do realize people might not be sitting in. Violet is holding out hope. I agree. People might not be sitting in front of their computers like me. But if you're available, I want to hear this. Wade's divorce will be affected by any money proven. Alimony is based on assets. Wife is waiting for this to show how much money he hid. Yeah, I mean, that's going to happen. It's going to be a mess. Let's see. I think I got everybody up to here. I appreciate you. But facts and evidence are against the prosecution's case. Yes. Oh, come on, Violet. Okay. All right, no problem. I got a feeling I'm gonna be talking about this on Sunday too for my Sunday show. So we'll put a pin in it and we'll come back and we'll talk about it. We'll get it straightened out. Wade's divorce is finalized. They reached a settlement on the very beginning of February. Really? Interesting. Okay. But I thought they even mentioned it today. I thought they mentioned today that they're still married. I thought I heard that from his team. Do you think, Jason, if the consequences are bad for Fani, the left-wing media will cry sexism? Oh, they've already tried it all. So there'll be sexism. There will be, yeah, I thought so. Like they literally said it today. I thought they said that they're still married. Oh no, they're going to try everything. They're going to try all of the isms. So it'll be sexism, racism, ageism. I don't care. Northern Southernism. They're going to try everything. That's why I think the optics didn't play well for Trump's team. I think the optics, the look of it, played well for the Fani Willis's team. In my opinion. During the pink dress testimony, Fani called this all sexist and racist. She did. But at this point in the game, let's just tell the truth. Sexism and racism, those terms don't even mean anything anymore. They're just nebulous terms that don't mean anything. So try something new. Try something different. Try something different, Fani. Yeah, she already tried those two cards. So I don't think it's gonna fly. as high as she thought it would, and she's going to be sorely disappointed that it doesn't work. All right, let's see what the little tumbleweed is. Oh, they're right down the street. Okay, cool. All right. Interesting. Okay. The settlement reached Tuesday means Willis will likely avoid testifying in the case. I got you. I really, as it relates to Nathan and his divorce, it is what it is, man. I hate it because I think it's all theater, and he's got a wife and children that are going to suffer for it. But I mean, that's his own pride. Yeah, I was already shot down by the few apostate preachers. I am ready. I am so ready. Let me open up the garage for her to see how the what ends up happening on these churches on Sunday. I can't wait to see it. I can't. Woke, you have to. Woke. You have seen it before. They sweep it under the rug, and it's forgotten forever. Yeah, that's true. No argument for me. I hate it though, but you're more true than false. You're more true than false. Get in the house, little girl. What are you doing? So she went to some little. I told you all my second born went to a friend of hers. They play in a band, and they were playing at a little coffee house. And so she went to the coffee house with some members from church to go support the kids that were playing in the band at the coffee house. And so I think she just walked in. There she is. Okay. I think that's her. I hope it's not somebody else. All right. So anyway, that's Chief Executive Second Born. I should ask her to come here and tell us about it, but she probably is not going to. We'll see when she comes in. When she comes to the room, I'll tell her to come on in here and tell us about the little little jazz night she went to with her friends. That's hilarious. All right, let's keep this going. Wade got what he wanted. He filed for divorce the very next day after being appointed by Fani. So evident. I mean, to me, I wondered, like, if he had waited, filed for divorce, and waited to not even get paid, could he have, this would have probably not have happened. Nathan should have settled his divorce before word of the money came out. Yep, there you go. That is what brought the divorce to the skeething, or rather, screeching halt. That's what brought the divorce. Yes, I got you. I see what you're saying there. Yes. To be so brazen about it wasn't the best choice. Yeah, it was that's why I said it on an earlier episode. Like, I feel like personally, Fani was like, who's going to check me, as the kids like to say. Okay, there's my, and she shut the garage. Thank you so much. I think it's really like, it was almost like it was so bombastic that nobody would think that it was a lie. It's so egregious, nobody would believe that they were doing something this out of pocket. That's what I think happened. They just were like, hey, we're going to go so big that nobody will question it. It's going to be so ludicrous that nobody will say, is it even possible that this is real? Nobody's going to do that. That's why I think it was so brazen. Like, yo, this is insane. That's just my little 2 cents, what I think happened. Because otherwise, like, who in the world believed that? Like, who did you think was going to believe this? Fani? I don't know who she thought believed it. But Fanny's toast. I'm waiting for somebody to make a good case for why she's not toast, but I think she is. No one really paid attention to this matter until Fani burst into the courtroom, and her arrogance turned so many people off. Okay, like I said, I'm going to go on a limb and say all of Fani's issues were self-inflicted. From the courtroom, from writing the book, to all of these things that she was doing, she inflicted those wounds on herself. The Trump team, if she had not, because again, they didn't even want her to testify. So all of that came because she got in there. So all of the stuff about cash and all of this stuff, that's her. So I think she put herself in a pickle for sure. Let's keep going. This Patty says, I think Fani is so confrontational that nobody dares step in front of her, is my thought. No, I think that's kind of what I've heard other people say that. So that's not surprising that you landed there, because I've heard other people say it as well. It's almost like, who's going to check me? How dare you? Like, how dare you? What I call it? How dare you-ism? Like, how dare you challenge me? I don't envy the judge's decision. I don't under this judge's decision. He seems like a straight shooter, even though he donated to her. I agree. Absolutely. It's a Jezebel personality. All right. I got you. Okay. Susie said right here, I think narcissists don't think they'll be caught. And if they are, that they'll be held accountable. That's why she was so aggressive on the stand when she didn't even need to be there. Amen. Like, she did not have to be there. That's the part I just don't think people get. Like, she chose to be there. Nobody made her come. That's another opportunity where she was her own worst enemy. Somebody said that earlier. Fani is her own worst enemy. All right, what we got here? King Ahab and Jezebel. Don't forget Baal. Amen. No, I agree. 100%. That's a good catch. So hopefully, let's just wrap this thing up. Hopefully, the judge will come back sooner than later, and there'll be some real, man. I think what's going to happen is we're going to go through this weekend. We'll go through Monday, Tuesday, maybe even Wednesday. About Thursday, we're going to start getting rumblings. Now, the only thing is, since he has to write a detailed response or rationale for his judgment, I think that's the only thing that'll slow it down and why it might be 2 weeks. But I just wish, I really believe he was already crafting what he was going to write. Because, I mean, each day he's hearing this information. Each day he's hearing these testimonies. So hopefully he was already crafting it. So it's not going to be a real 2 weeks. So I'm hoping, here I go, before next Saturday, so like next Friday, that he'll have his word. And if not next Friday, that following Monday. So we're not going to go all the way the whole 2 weeks. I don't see any good reason for that. So I think, so that's what I think. It'll be next Friday, a week from today, or that following Monday. But that's about it. That's what I think is going to happen. But so this coming Sunday, I am going to be doing my Weekend Woke Sunday night. So let's just do this again. I'm going to see if Chris is available. Maybe we will do that. Look at woke preacher clips this week, talking about all these churches that are venerating and exalting Fani Willis. It was pretty wild. So hopefully Chris will want to do that. That'll be fun to do that with him. And maybe we'll do that this weekend. But I'll do my Weekend Woke on Sunday for sure. And hopefully we'll have some good news early next week, and I'll be wrong about next Friday, and we can talk about it again. So I want to thank you all. Thank you so much for that crazy live stream this morning. It was the largest live stream I've ever had. I want to thank you all for that. I want to thank you for watching my videos. Thank you so much, Susie Q. Susie is a fantastic moderator. If you want to support me on Buy Me a Coffee, you can do that as well. You want to drop me a super chat or a super sticker, feel free to do so. I appreciate you either way. But I really do appreciate you watching these videos, hanging out with me. I just wanted to talk with you all and kind of get your thoughts and opinions as the case has died down and now it's in the hands of the judge. So I really do appreciate it. Thank you, Jimmy Ward. Thank you so much. I appreciate you so much, Susie Q. Thank you so much, sister. You can always check out my channel, Dear Woke Christian, my website, forgive me, dearwokechristian.com. So I appreciate you all, though. Thank you very much for all of this. It's a lot of fun. I'm glad that you all are finding value in the content. Congratulations and welcome to all the new subscribers. Hopefully I've earned your subscription. I think I earned that thumbs down over there too. So I'm trying my best, doing my best. But I appreciate all of you all so much. Let's do this again. I don't plan on doing a video tomorrow, but who knows? I might wake up tomorrow and have a bird in my saddle and turn the camera on. So keep your eyes out. Now, I do notice this, that YouTube just pushes out notifications as they see fit. So if you have selected subscribe and you do have the notification on, it's on YouTube. It's not me. It's not you. It's YouTube. But just something I recognize. But who knows? Maybe I'll do another video tomorrow. I thank y'all so much. It's been a lot of fun. This has been an excellent, man, I cannot believe that we are almost at the finish. But we'll see what happens. Who knows? They might say extra innings. I don't know. They might say extra innings and we have to do this all over again. Who knows? But if you do find any other good articles, by the way, if you do find any good articles about this that you find beneficial, or you think like, yo, Jason, this is a great analysis of the case, feel free to email me, dearwokec@gmail.com. Let me drop that in there as well. It might add to the show the next time we do something. And because I found some great ones already. And I think I left 2 of them in the description for this video for you all. I didn't go over them tonight, but they were pretty helpful as well. And just giving a summary of the closing arguments, which I think were pretty interesting. And that's it, everybody. Let's do it again real soon. I thank you all so much. God bless each and every one of you. And until next time, grace and peace. Take care.